It's the last Sunday in the month of April. Welcome to Osun In Progress, a weekly program that showcases activities and achievements of Governor Gboyega Oyetola in the state of the virtuous. Today, our focus is on the Ministry of Youth and Sports. What are the achievements recorded in the ministry since the administration came on board? Shortly, we'll be speaking with the State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Yemi Lawal. My name is Rafiu Hamid, but before then, let's look at the activities of the state government for the week. The week started with a security and reconciliation meeting held at the instance of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Security, Abiodun Ige, and his counterpart on civic engagement, Olatunbosun Oyintiloye, in Owode Koka. This follows a brewing crisis between dwellers of Owode Koka and the Fulani Boro community. At the meeting, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Security says a 9-man committee has been inaugurated to ensure an harmonious relationship among dwellers irrespective of their differences. Abiodun Ige urged them to give necessary support and cooperation to the security operatives.
Both sides have agreed to coexist peacefully. A committee has been set up that will be meeting regularly, that will be looking at their problems and their challenges with a view to finding solutions to the problems and challenges so that we will not have any issue again within the communities.
The reason why we are here is that we are having a lot of challenges here in terms of security, and we are taking it upon ourselves as a government to wade in and call all the stakeholders that are concerned.
Members of the community want prompt response from the security operatives when the need arises.
The solution to this problem, in my own view, is to curtail the influx of herdsmen into our farms. I said we are into farming, we are into oil palm plantation, and we do arable farming too. If you are a farmer, you will not be happy with what is happening around this place. And as you are not a farmer, you go to the market and eat. If what you are going to eat at home has been taken over by herdsmen, the scarcity of food today, everybody is crying. What you buy for 100 naira before, you can hardly buy it for 500 naira now.
The community members also commended operatives of Amatekun for their prompt response. A security meeting had earlier held where the State Commissioner of Police, Olawale Olokode, briefed journalists on plans to further strengthen security in the state.
The criminals should know that this is not a place. This state is not a place where crime could fester. It's not a place where they can hibernate and commit a crime. We are all out, as we have been, to completely erase all these criminal acts. My advice to them is either they get out of this state or they repent.
On Tuesday, the civic engagement program of the state government was held in Ilisha, the headquarters of Ijesha land. It was attended by important personalities in the town, including some political office holders.
I cherish it. Even my people cherish it. We love it. We rap together. We talk together now. Whatever we need, we tell the government. Whatever government needs, we tell us. So it's a very nice program.
The paramount ruler of Ijesha land Oba Gabriel Adekunle Aromalaran, and his chiefs also graced the event. He used the opportunity to request for the upgrade of the State College of Education in Ilesha to University of Education.
College of Education, they can call the university. So, I'm the governor at a social media Oya kò kí gómìnà fàṣẹ sí. Kí n dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà Oyètọ́lá fún akitiyan tó ń ṣe. Pàápàá lọ́rọ̀ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àtàwọn teachers tó ń sanwó oṣù fún wọn. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo òṣìṣẹ́. Irú program tẹ́ ṣe yìí inú mi dùn sí gan. Torí pé ẹ mọ nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ democracy. Ìjọba tiwantiwa ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ sì mọ̀ pé owó àwọn èèyàn wa ní agbára wà. Agbára ò sí lọ́wọ́ ìjọba. Ó wà lọ́wọ́ àwa tí a jẹ́ èèyàn.
The State Commissioner for Works and Transport, Remi Omowaye, reassures residents of speedy completion of all ongoing road projects in the state.
In spite of COVID, in spite of NSACs, we finished the first phase within the stipulated time. And if you look at most of our projects, once we tell you we want to do a project under 3 months, 4 months, we are going to do it. So as God liveth, with the continuous support of the people of Osun, we are going to deliver. We are going to do more roads. Just yesterday, the governor directed that we'll commence about 5 new roads. So we know there is huge infrastructural deficit, and we cannot finish all in a day, but we'll continue to strive to do what the people want. We cannot finish all in a day. We cannot finish all under the space of one term, but we'll try our possible best to ensure that to a large extent, we'll do what the people want.
Democracy is all about people. Power belongs to people according to what Kabiyesi said. And if you believe that power belongs to people, we need to actually carry people along in whatever we are doing. This kind of program will give the government opportunity to know the feelings of the people that they are governing, over. It will even give the people, the populace, opportunity to express their feelings about the government programs and policy.
They lay their requests on the table and they make a lot of demand from the government. Having appreciated of what governor has done in this area, they still make a request that governor should come to their aid in terms of the road infrastructure and changing of the nomenclature of the College of Education to university. And these are the things they requested from the government. It has been documented, and in a short while we will transmit their demand to the governor of the state.
Same day, the state government was represented at the Ramadan lecture organized by Ure Muslim community. Wife of the state governor, Kafayat Oyetola, traditional rulers and Muslims from across the town were in attendance.
I will use this opportunity to advise the Muslims to show more love to one another, to cooperate with the government. The government of the moment, they should cooperate and they should try to give funds to the needy. Follow the full pillar of Islam during this period. By the grace of God, we shall all get the rewards of this period, inshallah.
This is the month of Ramadan, the holy month for we Muslims. It is part of Sunnah. When you organize something like this, you call Islamic clerics to come and talk to people about what is to be done during Ramadan. Some people are just Muslims by name. They don't even know what Islam is all about. But when you bring in a renowned Islamic scholar like Alhaji Muhyiddin Ajani Bello to come and talk about Ramadan, then it sinks into your brain. That is the motive. This is organized by the Muslim community in Ire, and you can see how crowded it is. Virtually nobody wants to know what the man of God will tell us about Ramadan. The take home is, if you will be a Muslim, be a good Muslim. The month of Ramadan is a holy month. Make it holy. That is the month that you ask for forgiveness of all your sins. And Allah opens the door of mercy for all Muslims.
The lecture was delivered by a renowned Islamic preacher, Sheikh Muhyiddin Bello.
Àwẹ̀ tá ń gbà yìí náà, àwọn èèyàn tí ò ní láwẹ̀ tọ́lọ́hún ò ní ìdí àwẹ̀ wọn àná Muhammad sọ ọ̀là ní ìdí àwẹ̀ èèyàn mẹ́rin ìran mẹ́rin à ní ìdí àwẹ̀ rẹ̀.
wàlá yujibu da'watahu.
nítorí pé àwọn mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin tá a wí ọlọ́run ò ní gba kò gba àdúrà kò tiẹ̀ ní gbàdúrà wọn débi pé yóò wá gba àwẹ̀ wọn a sì pọ̀ mí èyí tó bá kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sí ọmọ ẹ̀ kó mú lọ lé.
mudminu al-khamri.
gbogbo ọ̀mùtí pátápátá kò láàwẹ̀ èèyàn mẹ́wàá ni ó sì jìyà lórí ọtí ìran mẹ́wàá
mudminu al-khamri.
ọ̀mùtí èèyàn kò ní ìdí àwẹ̀ kó má wulẹ̀ gbá torí wọ́n bá gbà wasting of time. èèyàn mẹ́wàá ni ó jìyà ọtí.
On Wednesday, similar program was also organized by Kafayat Oyetola at the government house in Osogbo.
I discovered that there are a lot of people in the town that cannot afford to feed themselves during this Ramadan in particular. So I just thought within myself that I need to assist such people. That is why I decided to provide the little I have in form of food and maybe token money. And I give glory to Almighty Allah for the opportunity given me to do it.
After the program, foodstuffs were distributed to all the participants. Still in the spirit of Ramadan, 2 separate lectures were attended by the governor and members of his cabinet on Thursday. One was organized by Muslim Political Awareness Front, MUPAF, where Sheikh Buhari Musa was the guest speaker, while the other one was held at Ilerelua campaign office, where the chief imam of Ofa, Sheikh Salman Hussein, preached the word of God.
agbọ́rò yìnyín ayé ìyẹn ẹni tí ò bá ṣe dáadáa ìsẹ̀yìn gan tó wá ń ròyìn yín nígbà tí wọ́n tọ́ náà bí ìṣe lọ́wọ́ ọ̀nà bàbá ọ̀nà bá wa sọ̀kalẹ̀ báyìí àtúngbàgbò mi àríṣẹ́ yín àmọ́ kò ì tó mo sọ fún jọ Sunday kò tí ì tó bẹ́ẹ̀ bá tí ì bá nǹkan débì kan àwọn tí ò fẹ́ kó dá fún wa ní ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ti gbìyànjú tó ẹni tó náà bá wà ń bẹ̀ sí ò ní fẹ́ láṣeyọrí ẹ má dàn lóhùn ẹ má ṣe tí ń lọ ẹni tẹ́ ẹ yà sẹ́mi kẹ́ tó máa bọ̀ ẹ má dàn jẹgúdú jẹrá lóhùn.
Governor Gboyega Oyetola encouraged Muslims to let the lessons learned in the month of Ramadan reflect in their daily activities.
I enjoy our people to be more appreciative of the blessings of Almighty Allah and to continue to support government, to be conscious of the need for security and then ensure that they continue to do this in the spirit of the Ramadan. We should celebrate Ramadan peacefully and ensure there is no problem in our respective communities. There should be interdisciplinary collaboration. There must be no question of issues that could affect the unity of our country, of our community, and that could threaten the peace of our state.
Youth and sports is an important ministry in any administration. It is the ministry that takes care of programs and policies that affect the youths. Here in Osun, the ministry is headed by a young and talented person, Yemi Lawal. Yemi Lawal speaks on the achievements of the ministry in the last 28 months.
When we came into office, we had about 20,000 cadets on the scheme of OES. The first thing we did was to go by way of head count to see and ascertain exactly how many people we have And we equally went ahead to check the responsibilities of the various cadets. We went ahead to check their qualifications so that they don't get underemployed and misemployed. So those that have the right qualifications and could go into teaching were attached to the Ministry of Education. Those that have the understanding of what is obtainable with our environment are attached to the Ministry of Environment. And some other ones that lack basic education and whose, let me say, maybe they are still pretty young, we are attached to Ministry of Environment on sanitation. So our OES cadets are in charge of cleanliness of our environment. So what we did was to strengthen what they are currently doing in the scheme of OES. And to God be the glory today, we have a reduced number of people on ad hoc basis, and we are preparing, working hard to ensure that we recruit a new set of cadets into the system. And that will be done very soon. Mr. Governor is very, very particular about the affairs of the youth. In our sporting department, one of the things we realized was for us to have a robust sporting activity, there are associations that drive every sport. For example, in handball, they have the Handball Association at the state level, and they have the Handball Federation at the national level. And if you are going to organize any event or competition in any sporting activity, you must, in quotes, you must do it in collaboration with the association and by extension, the federation. So if we are going to do anything at the state level, we need our associations to be functional so that we'll have a proper direction. And when we went into the records, we realized that we've not had any association apart from FA in the state of Osun in the last 10 years. We have aggregated the names, we have contacted those that are willing to do this job for us. And Mr. Governor has given his express approval. They are going to be inaugurated soon, so that we are going to have a defined template for us to aggregate our opportunities in sports. On the part of youth engagement, we have done so much. Because I remember when I assumed office, the first challenge my principal threw at me was, Yemi Lawal, you're a young man. And one of the things we expect you to do is to be able to identify and understand where the shoe pinches on the part of the youth. So we expect you to do more than anybody else in this regard by telling us exactly what is going to better the lives of the senior youths. So the first thing we did was, okay, to go into the records and see what the past government have been doing, what their plans have always been. And when we went into all these records, we realized that there was no particular direction for the youth. The first thing we must do was to develop a paper that will tell us what the government intends to do in the next 5 years. So that with or without Yemi Lawal being the commissioner, there is already a template that you are following. So anybody that comes into office already has a direction. You don't have to go back to the drawing board to begin to look for what to do again. So we developed the youth policy document, which is due for launch hopefully by next month. And youth policy document is christened the 4 E's. It is built around 4 primary E's. And what are these E's? It is youth education, youth engagement, youth empowerment, and youth entrepreneurship. We have categorized everything that has to do with our youths in these regards. And one of the reasons why we did this, why we christened the policy document the 4 E's, is because we realized for us to have a very functioning society, the people living in that kind of environment must be informed. And one of the things that can keep people informed is basic education. So for us to have a functioning society where our youth would be able to key into the developmental agenda of the government, the youth need basic education. So education happens to be the first thing that we are laying emphasis on for the sake of our youth, by ensuring that everybody has access to basic quality education. So you must create a way of engaging the youth. Engagement could be in form of education, could be in form of vocational training, could be in form of sporting activities, could be in form of art and culture, could be in form of entertainment, could be in form of agriculture, it could be anything. But what is important is all year round, our youth must be engaged. So the idea is we create various opportunities for engagements and let them be able to pick their own choice based on their passion. Okay, if you don't particularly want to go to school, the state government has provided basic education, which is a minimum of O levels. So after you graduate from secondary school, now you have the choices around you. If you are into sport, definitely we would have identified you while you were in secondary school, and we can begin to nurture you to stardom. If your idea is for you to go into agriculture and you want to become a farmer right from now, yeah, we have a template that will support whatever it is you want to do. You're an artist, you have the talent to sing, you know how to dance, you know how to do all of this. So the idea is to create an enabling environment for engagement for our youth.
The state participated in the National Sport Festival recently held in Edo State.
We went to Edo State with very few number of athletes compared to other states. And one of the factors we considered before reducing that number to that level was the issue of COVID-19 pandemic. We wouldn't want a situation where we will have too many people that will not be able to manage effectively. But the reduced number of athletes we took to Edo actually reduced our chances of winning so much medals, because the number of athletes you take determine the number of sporting activities you are going to be able to partake in. So going with 60 athletes and partaking in very few number of events reduced our chances of winning so much medals, where some other states came with as much as 800 athletes, 600, 250, and to mention just a few. But you see, the lesson learned, I was there myself, and I realized we need serious grassroots sports development, and that is the way we are going now. We need to begin to discover new talents. Some of our talents, yes, they have been there, they have won quite a number of laurels for the states, but they are becoming old, and there must be proper succession plan, which is what we are beginning to work on. And that is why we are now talking about having a state sports festival, which the state is planning to do by third quarter of this year, where every local government will have the opportunity to present their raw talent for competitions, and the best among them shall be selected for the states to begin to nurture them. And we hope that by the special grace of the Almighty, we'll be able to nurture these people to stardom that the states and their families will be proud of them.
What were the lessons learned from the NSAS protest, and what has government done as regards the needs of the youths?
Belong to the younger generation. It wasn't a surprise. We actually saw it coming, and we thank God that it wasn't beyond what it was. And it was an opportunity for every leader, both political, religious, or whatever leader you are. It's an opportunity for you to understand that when the younger generation are resolute, they can do anything. And it is important to consider the younger generation in decision making. The younger generation that we are talking about, they form the larger percentage of the population. The younger generation we are talking about are the ones that will determine the GDP of any nation. The younger generation that we are talking about are the ones that will determine whether your economy is doing well or not, because they are the active population. So for us to get it right in this country today, there is need to pay more attention to the needs of the youth. And what NSAS eventually thought of was for us to know that this group of people are very key, very important for us to succeed as a nation. We are talking about insecurity today. If the yearnings of the youth are properly addressed, I'm telling you, insecurity will be reduced. If you're talking about lack of production, it is the youth that would ensure increased production. If you're talking about reduced number of SME, it is the youth that can go into SME, small and medium enterprise. They are the ones that have the wherewithal, they have the energy to form small businesses. So all they need is just a little push and support from the government. And that is what they have succeeded in telling us indirectly, that we are here, we are suffering, we don't like the way we are being managed, and we want a change. They have spoken, the government has heard, we have heard, and especially the government of the state of Osun, and Mr. Governor has started listening to them to ensure that whatever is going to turn their lives around is the priority of the government. And I remember we promised them that every 3 months, every quarter, we shall be having this engagement so that we'll be able to tell them what we are doing, what we plan to do, and they can equally voice out and tell us what they want and what they think we should do better. And I can assure you that in another couple of days, we are going to have another round of engagements with our youths.
That's the size of our package for today. Join us next Sunday, same time, for another edition of Osun In Progress. On behalf of the coordinator, who doubles as the State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Funke Egbemade, and the entire production crew. My name is Rafiu Hamid saying, do have a great week ahead.